1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. To stretch kidogo. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
So what you've seen there is me counting the money that I was given for my birthday gift, and clearly I was happy because that is not money I had before. As a matter of fact, I wasn't in a good place financially, so that was going to be a game changer for me. And now here is my cousin holding the money that you were just about. This was right before we went to invest the money. Do you want to pesa ngapi?
Hizi hata siwezi hesabika bana. Kwa hizi madhao hakuna hata 200.
Ni madhao tu. Just flexing.
Hakuna hadi choani. Mtafute pesa wadau.
Now, in the previous video, I said my cousin was in scams before, ones that he succeeded in. Let me clarify that. What I meant was not that he was the one carrying out the scams. Like he got himself in scams, right? That he thought they were going to bring him money just like this one. But before the scammers could chuck with his money or scam him, because obviously it's usually like they want to bring people in and then they get all their money and disappear. Now for him, he's been in scams before where he's gotten in early, gotten his money, and then by the time the scammers were vanishing with other people's money, he wasn't affected. That's why I said he was successful in that, not in terms of carrying out the scams, because he's not a scammer and we don't do scams. Just for clarity, for the record, we don't do scams, we don't do illegitimate business, we are not unscrupulous. So just for the record. Anyway, I'm back with part 2 now. Now here's what happened. So like I said, the logic was outscamming the scammer, recycling their money, so that in the case where they disappear, you are not affected because you didn't remove any money out of pocket. We just used their money after we've already gotten ours, of course, back. Now that is the initial investment. Sorry, we must have gotten the initial investment first and then we recycle their money. Now we are clear. Okay, so that was the idea. And when I introduced my cousin to it on Sunday, now remember, this is all happening within a space of 4 days: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And as you've seen that video that I've just attached there, that is the money we wanted to go invest, because like I said, I had 22 G's and then I took away the 7k to use for my own personal stuff at the time, and then I decided that 15k is what I'm going to use to invest into something that will earn me money. So on that Sunday, we took that 15k that you just seen my cousin holding, and we went, put it in M-Pesa, and then we invested in a stock. Now I can't remember which stock it was exactly, but let me check for you. I think it was I'll see whether I can also attach some pictures of the calculations I was doing, just so that you can see where my head was at. Yeah, Amazon. Now the stock was for Amazon that we invested in, and it was in wave 3.0. Because when I found wave 3.0, remember I told you it had better return rates, and you know, it was just made sense. It was a no-brainer to go with wave 3.0 first, that when we build that up. So the idea was this: we get into wave 3.0, we build in that up, and then once we've already bought all the stocks and we're getting our daily returns, we can use that money to build venture wave up, which was the first up. so that we can be able to maximize on the profit potential from these two apps and gain our money. That was the initial idea, and it was fantastic, it was amazing. And I also thought that, building with 3.0 fast would be not necessarily faster, but it will make it much faster for us to build this one, because the returns on these are higher, so the money we'll be getting will be much more than if we invested in the venture wave app fast. That we use that money to build venture wave app faster than we would have, and then we can be able to maximize on that on both apps. So anyway, that was on Sunday. We went, put the money, invested in Amazon, and then the daily returns for Amazon was around 4,200 shillings. That's around $42, right? Around $40 there every day. And that was amazing, obviously. And then Monday obviously came, and when Monday came, the app layout was, there was a place you will tap to say start counting or something. But basically when you tap that, it starts estimating the return that you're going to get, and does that over a span of around 8 hours. And then once 8 hours is over, you see it as finished counting, and then you're able to withdraw your money. So he did that on Monday, and then I told him, instead of us removing the money, because normally what you will do, is you will withdraw the money every time it finishes counting. So I told him, you know what, let's not withdraw the money, let us reinvest it back, because withdrawing the money means they're going to cut their percentage of around 20%. That's what their policy was stating, that when you're withdrawing money, they cut 20%, which is their fee. So I was like, there's no need of having them cut their 20% when we could just reinvest that money, because the idea was we were going to reinvest it anyway. So just leave it there, reinvest it once it reaches a particular threshold that allows you to buy a bigger stock, right? So that was the idea, and he did that on Tuesday. Now on Monday, when he came over to our place, he obviously had already started the timer on the account of Wave 3.0, and then I saw the amount of money I had in my account. I just needed a little bit more, like around 4,000, around 5,000, to buy the next bigger stock, so that I can also continue building mine as he builds his. Because ideally we're telling each other, once you've been able to build both apps, when you combine the money that we'll be earning from all 4 apps, his 2 apps and my 2 apps, it will be a fortune, right? So I was like, I also need to start building, right? I mean, I didn't have the 15k at first, so I was investing more on the small stocks. So I went to a loan app, all right, called Branch, and I borrowed 3,600 shillings, which is around $30. Now, mind you, this is Kenya, so $30 might not seem much, but in our currency, that's a lot, especially given the financial position I was in at the time. I borrowed 3,600, which was a big gamble, but because I felt so confident in how I had calculated all these steps and the approach we were going to take, scamming the scammers, I felt like, it's a risk worth taking. So I borrowed 3,600, and then when I calculated the amount that was needed to buy the next stock, I realized I didn't have enough yet. So I borrowed him 1,600 shillings, which is around $10, right? Not around 12, sorry, $12, $13 there. So I borrowed him the money. I borrowed from Branch, and then I also borrowed from my classmate 1,000 shillings, which is around $9, around $10. So these are all debts I'm incurring willingly because I have so much confidence in how this is gonna turn out. Now, at the time, I didn't know these guys were scammers. I thought they were legit. But from all the due diligence I had done, I had no reason to believe that. Every research I had done led me to believe, or at least gave me the conclusion, these guys are probably not legitimate. But I was in over my head, I was greedy, and I wanted money. So I borrowed from all these people, and then guess what? Tuesday comes, right? Was it Tuesday or Wednesday? One of those 2 days after we've invested the money, all the money that we had is now with them. All the one that we got out of pocket, all the loans that I took, everything, even the ones that I gave to my cousin to invest, all the 15K is all there. And we haven't withdrawn any money because the idea was to reinvest, to rinse and repeat. Then the following day, Tuesday or around Wednesday, I don't know whether it was Tuesday or Wednesday, but one of those 2 days, we woke up and we saw it was finished counting, and on that day I needed money, I needed some money. So I was like, okay, let me just withdraw a little bit and let's see how I can be able to recover that money that I've withdrawn, because I needed some money. So I went ahead and tried to withdraw. I'm going to withdraw, it tells me there's traffic. So I'm like, okay, maybe, this is the first time I'm seeing this, no need to panic. And I thought to myself, maybe this is how it starts, But then I was patient, and then I called my friend, the friend who introduced me to this thing. And then I told him, mine is misbehaving, or this is what is happening. What about yours? Then I tell my cousin to try withdrawing on his end, so that I see whether it's just a thing on my part or it's something that's happening to everybody. So they both get back to me and they tell me, oh, mine is saying there's heavy traffic. Mine is saying there's heavy traffic. And I'm like, okay, let's just wait. Let's not panic. Let's wait for, at the end of the day, and let's see how it's going to happen. Now, one thing I not told you is the previous day on Monday, when we were investing all this money, I was still doing my due diligence, and I will attach the screenshots to the conversations I had with ChatGPT, not the conversation, but the research I was doing on Google. And I will also show you the app layout of how it looked like and, the money that we were getting. Now, I was still doing my due diligence, and what I found was on Monday, I found that they had a website. So this made me feel like, oh, these guys are legitimate because I finally found their website, right? Now, the challenge with their website was it was just their login page, which was the same one that we had on the app. So I felt like it wasn't any different, but at least there is something to work with. So when I would go on Google to search them, I would see they have a website. So now at this time, it didn't register to me that maybe it was just for show. I just thought to myself, at least they have a website. And that was enough to make me feel like, oh, they're probably legitimate. Because to me, the logic was they aren't afraid to be seen. They aren't afraid to be found. They aren't afraid to expose themselves to the world. And so that gave me some comfort in, just invest, because it's like, you can be able to find them. And they have a website, they have apps and all that, And mind you, I was even going on TikTok to search whether these guys are legitimate, because, TikTok is literally the hub for information. Anyway, I tried everything. There's nothing I didn't try to find out whether these guys are legitimate, whether these guys are real. I went on all platforms, researched, did my due diligence. I delved deep. But I still got in over my head, didn't believe the research I was finding, and still thought that these guys, or at least I'll be able to outsmart them. That was the way I was thinking about it. So, coming back to them telling us there's heavy traffic, it made me feel uneasy, right? Now, the day passes, and with every passing minute, I become more and more doubtful, more and more skeptical. And my skepticism is justified because what do you mean there's heavy traffic? Yet this has never happened before. On top of that, I go and search their website at around 7 p.m. in the evening on Tuesday, or on that day that they gave us the notification of traffic. Their website is no longer up. Their website is down. Both of them, actually, they were two websites. They were both down. Every time you try to invest in a stock, it accepts. Now, obviously, I didn't invest in a stock, but I was testing to find out whether it's only the withdrawal or it's also the investment aspect of the app that is glitching. No, it's only the withdrawal, because you can freely invest. Their websites are down. There's no information about them online. And now I can't withdraw my money. Neither can my friend, neither can my cousin. So at this point, I talked to my friend and my cousin and I told them, you know what, let's just accept. We've been washed. Here in Kenya tunaitangwa kuoshwa. Hapo sasa tulioshwa. We were washed. Our hands were washed clean with soap. And so all the money that I had invested, all the money my cousin had invested, all the debts I had took, all the money my friend had invested, gone. And at that point, I wasn't going to be optimistic, have hope that, oh, it's just the traffic, but they're gonna come back. I had been in enough scams before, and ironically, I have been scammed many times before. And you won't believe just how much I've lost so far in scams. I have lost over 32,000 Kenyan shillings. That's around $300 in scams. Sorry about that. This was in a span of 2 years. All in scams. 32,000. 32,000 Kenyan shillings. Around $300. I lost all that within a span of 2 years. I turned 18. 3 months later, I lost 6,000 through, I don't want to call it really a scam, but I felt scammed, because when you look at the dynamics of the opportunity that was being presented, you could tell this wasn't really in your best interest. This was, they were blindsiding you with something lucrative, but the motive was for them to just, empty your pockets and put your money in their pocket. So that's how it felt. And mind you, Kwanzaa, this one, to be honest, this one was more hurting because this was hard-earned money. If you remember in previous videos that I did, I told you about my first job, the one that I did for 3 months. This job earned me around 8,000, 8 to 10,000. I can't remember exactly how much, but in those 3 months, that's the amount I earned. And that's around $100, right? Within those 3 months. And it was just when I had finished working there that this opportunity came, and poof, my 6,000 went like that. So I only remained with around, actually at that point I had already used some money. So the one that I had was all that I got at the time, because it just came like a month after I had finished working there. So all my money honestly just went like that. So that hard-earned money that I worked so hard for, gone. And then I also got into another one where I had saved up some money. I don't know where I got this money. I don't know whether it was allowance from my dad for school that I had been saving up, or I earned it somewhere. I can't remember. But that money, mind you, this is all in the effort. All these moments that I've been scammed, it's all in the effort of trying to multiply money. Money. the Nigerian persona is kicking in. I'm not Nigerian though, but we all know Nigerians are known for something. No offense. Anyway, all the money that I have been scammed of, it's money that I was trying to multiply. Ironically. Which is exactly what you should do as a rich person. That it's a rich person mindset, and it's about taking risks and all that. But anyway, this was miscalculated risk. This was poor due diligence. But anyway, I took that money and invested it in a writing gig, right? You know, here in Kenya, there is there's usually hype around doing writing jobs for people in, you know, people abroad, first world countries. You know, you write essays for them, you do their research and all that for their assignments, their cards and all that, and then they pay you for that, right? I know it's also a thing over there, but here in Kenya, you know, because of the strength of the American currency, it's a big deal, very big deal. So I got into that. I actually did a course on it. I was supposed to pay, but the person who was teaching me was gracious enough to give me a free course on it. And I got a platform. Now, this platform was independent of my tutor. My tutor did her work independently. She didn't have a platform. She wasn't recruiting anyone, so she told me to find platforms that do that. So I remember there was one that hit me up a few months back. I joined their group. I saw what they were all about, and then I got the direction on what I should do. I got in. Now, when you are getting in, there are fees you have to pay. Now, this was still my naivety, because this time I was nine. I was eight. No, I was. How old was I? I was still 18, actually, because it was in 2023 around there. So I got in. I was still naive. Anything that you need to invest money in first for you to get money back, and it's a job, that's not legitimate. And I had to learn that the hard way. So I went in and I invested around 3K, 3,000. That's around $30, which is a lot considering I had no money. I just come from another scam. I was trying to get myself back up, and then I got this money, and then I invested it, and then poof, gone. And how did I know it was gone? And actually, I'd invested around 3,200 Kenyan shillings, because there was money that you were supposed to invest after you've gotten in to get into an echelon of writers called the elite. It is called getting the elite package. Now, the elite package allowed you to get the best writing jobs. When I say the best writing jobs, I mean the ones that had the best rates. Now, this was a writing job that you will get paid like 3,000 Kenyan shillings, 4,000 Kenyan shillings per gig, which is around $30 to $40 per gig for writing just one. So me, I was like, let me invest the 3K, let me invest the $2, right? The $300 and the $2. And you know, that obviously comes to $302. I no wait no $32, not $300. $30 and $2, which is $32 in Kenyan money. That's around 3,200. Because I knew in the long term I'll be getting around 3K, 4K, 5K per gig, and I was like, okay, this is good. Little did I know these guys were liars. They have a website. Now these guys were even more legitimate than the ones that I just got in recently. They had a website, they were advertising themselves, they were doing all of that. But now every time you will do a gig and then send it for review, you will always get some lame excuse of why it's not acceptable. Every single time. So I did 4 gigs because I didn't realize this. I had to get to the 4th gig for me to realize these guys are playing with you. These guys are scamming you. They already took your money, and that's that. You're never getting paid for any gig, because these gigs aren't even real. It was a hard blow, but I had to learn that the hard way, and it is what it is. It really did suck for real, but there's nothing else I could have done. And ironically, I was supposed to do this with my cousin as well, but we agreed that one of us should go in first so that we can test whether it's legitimate or not, so that when the one who went in, whether it was me or him, would start earning, then we will be going into this thing for sure, like knowing it's legitimate. I don't know why we did not think about that in this one that we just got in, the one that we lost the 15K. And this was the biggest scam of all, you know, the one that we lost the most money in. And in all of those other scams, I tried to bring in my cousin because I thought they were legitimate. But in all the other two, he didn't come in. And the other two were more legitimate than this one. Because even the first one that I talked about, these were real business guys, you know? They were hiding under the rapport of network marketing. They were hiding under the rapport of selling what and what in the name of you'll be a salesperson, you'll be getting paid every week. And it was just, there was just something fishy about it. And I was right, obviously. But my money had already gone. So I only came to realize that, it was all fishy after. after the money had already been taken. So I'm so glad my cousin did not come in any of those other scams before. But it's so ironic that in the ones which were more legitimate because of, when you do your due diligence, your research, you find every reason to trust them. But in the one that we did not have any reason to trust them is where we went all in together at the same time with all our money. And it's all gone. So at that point, we just started laughing at ourselves because we realized, all our money is gone. Now, I was in the toughest position because remember, the 15K, I wasn't lending it to him. This was me investing that 15K as a risk, but I was doing it through him. Because remember, I would have done it on my own account. I would have done it on my own account. But I wanted him to start off so that when we get our money back, when he starts earning, he can now pay me back the 15K after, right? But this was my money. So it wasn't on him. The loss wasn't on him. So he wasn't supposed to pay me back. I just had to accept all my 15,000 shillings is gone. So that's one. Number two, remember I took loans from my friend, from the branch app, and from my cousin himself. Now, good thing is my cousin had my debt of around 2,000. So when you will subtract, it will come back to 400. So that really helped me to pay him the 400 faster rather than pay him the 1,600 shillings that I owed him. Now the branch app, now here's the thing about loan apps. Their interest rates are wild. So I borrowed 3,600 shillings, but guess what? I had to pay 4,300 shillings. That's 700 shillings more than what I borrowed. So you can imagine the debt hole I was in. Accumulating all those debts, it came to 6,400. Yeah. 6,400. You can imagine. And I had to pay all these debts with all my money gone. And yet, mind you, my dad did not know this. I did not tell him I invested. He still thinks I have the 15K somewhere stored in an investment money market fund. That's what he thinks. He doesn't know it's all gone. I got scammed of all the money. So, you can imagine the tight spot I'm in. I've lost all my money. My dad thinks it's in a money market fund. I have debts to pay. And I'm not getting any school allowance. Why? Because our lecturers were striking. So I couldn't leverage the fact that I'm going to school to earn some of that money. Not really earn, but to get the allowance that my dad usually gives me for upkeep during the week when I'm going to school and when I'm at home. And save it up and pay those debts. So I was in the worst position financially I could have ever been in. But I had no choice. I had to pay these debts. You get? I had to pay these debts. So I started devising a way, and I had to keep my dad in oblivion. I didn't want him to know I had lost all the money, so I never told him. But thank God my lecturers came back in December. Now, this was mid-November. All that happened within a span of 5 days. I lost all the money within a span of 5 days. And after that point, I was shook. I was completely distraught. And now November ended. The lecturers came back in December. And I had 2 weeks in school. Now, in those 2 weeks, my dad usually gives me $10 each week for upkeep, which is around 1,000 shillings. And that 1,000 shillings, I have to organize myself. I have to put money together for my needs, my fare for school, anything I might need in school and at home. and also money to save and invest. Like I had 1,000 shillings, but I had to plan for all of that, all in, just that 1,000. Anyway, I took that money and I deprived myself of all the luxuries, of all the needs and wants that I wanted at that time, or that I actually needed at that time. And I kept the money. And I kept the money long enough for me to pay the branch up first. Because remember, my cousin's debt reduced to 400, and it wasn't money that I was to pay him, it was money that he was supposed to pay me because he had a bigger debt of mine. So that worked in my favor, right? So I accumulated the money, and then I borrowed some money from my dad as debt in the name of allowance that he's gonna take back in January. That's why I decided to structure that deal with him without exposing to him why I need the money and where the initial money that he gave me went to. So I had to be really smart in how I went about this because the branch app had a deadline. From when I borrowed it, I was so cocky and so confident with this um, venture with thing that I said I'm just gonna borrow the money for 1 month, for 31 days, and I'll be able to pay it back within 31 days because I know this thing is just gonna materialize within 2 days. Little did I know that I was just setting myself up for big failure. Anyway, the 1 month was now hitting at on 18th of December. I had only 2,000. I had to borrow. Well, no, actually 1,000. I think. I can't remember exactly how much I had, but then I went and borrowed my dad around 5,000. He gave me 3K. I added on top of the 1,000 that I had. Then I went and borrowed around 500 shillings from my previous boss. Remember the boss that gave me my first job, the one for delivering, the one that I've just talked about being scammed of all that money that I had earned in the first scam? I went and borrowed him 500 shillings. He helped me out, and then I told him I'm going to return to you before the year ends. I paid the branch up, meaning I avoided to be charged more interest rates moving forward. And then now I remained with my dad's debt, my boss's debt, and my friend's debt, the one that I borrowed 1,000 shillings from in school, my classmate. So January comes, and now we're supposed to do exams. That means I had leverage of getting my allowance for 3 weeks. That's around 3,000. Now, I was able to pay my boss 500 shillings, the 500 shillings that I owed him, because I got rewarded for work that I was doing in the church. So this was God coming through for me, because to be honest, I didn't have any money to pay him back. I didn't have money to pay anybody back. After paying the branch up, I was back to zero. I had like 41 shillings only, which is cents in dollars, right? So I got rewarded, and then I used the money that I got rewarded to pay him back his 500 shillings. So I paid him back his 500 shillings, and then I remained with the remainder of the money that I was rewarded with. It wasn't much. I think it was around 1,000. Yeah, I believe it was around 1,000. No, 1,000. I remained with that money, and then I decided to use it for my fare for the time I'll be going to school within that exam period, so that the money that I'll be receiving, I can save the fare on that, pay my friend in school that money, and then the money that I will remain with, I can now use it to get myself back up. That's exactly what I did. So this is a story of how the devil has always waited for me to just get my hands on some cash and then find a way to get it out of my pockets. Because in all those times that I've been scammed, all the 32,000 shillings that I've lost cumulatively, they have all come at a time when I just happened to have either earned or been rewarded with a large lump sum of money, and I have a need to replicate it. And because of the mindset I have of taking risks, because in my pursuit of success, I have to think about things strategically, and I want to pursue ways that will maximize on every opportunity that I get. I think he notices that, and he brings those opportunities right in front of me, And he just finds a way to destroy me, honestly, because losing 32,000 within a span of 2 years, in my first 2 years of adulthood, is not easy, considering I don't have a full-time job, I'm not earning any money, I'm dependent on my dad's allowance. Well, you know for a fact I'm building my businesses right now, but I have nothing to show for it at the moment. You get? So I'm losing money that I don't even have. Money that is not even mine, money that I can never that not that I can never get, but I can't get back instantaneously because I don't have a job. I don't have an income generating source. Like it's just gone like that. My dad thinks I'm 15,000, 20,000, actually 20,000 because he gave me 20 G's. He thinks I'm 20,000 shillings richer. What he doesn't know is that I'm at zero. And that sucks. But at least I didn't give up. Within 2 months, I came from being 20,000 shillings richer to going 6,000 shillings in debt to coming back to zero and starting over to build myself up to build myself back up again. It takes a lot of mental fortitude and strength to pull that off, and to pull that off without your father ever knowing that you lost all the money that he gave you. So it has been a hard time for me, and I've had to learn how to do better due diligence on opportunities that come my way. And it also revealed to me just how poor my risk management skills were, because I should have waited to test the longevity of this opportunity, because it would have been better rather than coming in early and then losing the money. I would rather wait, lose the money only after I have found out it wasn't going to last long. And if it was going to last long, then perfect. It's proof of legitimacy. Or at least that's one reason I would have to say, oh, it's worth getting into, right? So it's not like I would have had anything much to lose. Plus, I should have listened to I should have adhered to the due diligence I had made, I had done, or the research I had done that proved to me these guys are not legitimate. Rather than being in all over your head and being so cocky and confident in just how much you've thought about it strategically, that you're willing to go all in, and in the hope that you're going to get all your money back and more, with an opportunity that hasn't proven to be legitimate and hasn't proven to last long, because that was an opportunity that actually came. But I wouldn't even call it an opportunity because it was a scam, but it lasted for only a month, the month of November. And look at what it did to me. Look at what it did to all of us. It made us lose a lot of money. So I decided so many things. I had to learn a lot of new things through that experience, in how diligent I am in terms of the opportunities that I pursue. And there are no shortcuts, man. There are no, because I should have thought about just how too good to be true that opportunity was. How are you telling me I could be earning almost 3 million in 2 months? Not in 2 months, in every 2 months. Every 2 months, 3 million. That's 1.5 million a month. 1.5 million a month is $10,000 a month, which in the American economy is good enough per month. Here though, 1.5 million, you are part of the ultra rich. You are what are they called, moguls or tycoons. Anyway, I should have just realized how too good to be true it was, and also from the research I had done on stocks, and also from the knowledge I had on stocks. What would make me think that stocks will give you that much in such a short period of time? Little did I know these guys were just using the companies we could relate to, Kina Spotify, Amazon, FedEx, Pfizer, Nvidia, to hook us, to make us think, oh, these guys are legitimate. These are American regulated companies. Let us buy their stocks because it's an opportunity for us here in Africa to start adding money from investing in stocks. And I was too optimistic about it. I wasn't sure. I didn't do my research well enough. I wasn't diligent. and I had to pay the consequences. It cost me, and quite frankly, I deserved it, and here I am. So that was a very interesting experience. I had to learn it the hard way, but yeah, it is what it is. So I'm going to attach the lessons. No, no, not really the lessons, because I mean there's so many lessons. Maybe I can do a separate video on that later. Maybe not now. Maybe later in the future when we talk about how I've actually applied the lessons, because I've learned a lot, but until I apply them is when I'll actually know they are embedded in me. But I've learned a lot on risk management. I've learned a lot on doing due diligence. I've learned a lot on knowing when to go all in, how much to invest at any one given time, what signs to look for a legitimate business or a legitimate opportunity. So many things. And these are things that I should have learned from other people's experiences, but at least I have a story to tell. And it's something that will stick with me forever because it hit me in the feels. So I don't think I'll ever make that mistake again. And now I'm never going to take any shortcuts. That's also another lesson I learned. I'm going to pursue the opportunities that have proven to be legitimate and have proven to be ones that earn me exactly what I'm looking for. Because with that, I just think it was greed. I wasn't really pursuing my ideals. It's good to be aligned. Look at every opportunity as something that you should be aligned with in terms of your ideals, your principles, your virtues, and your values. Not just chasing financial stability and compromising everything just to gain that. So that was a mistake on my part. I learned that the hard way too. And yeah, there's so many lessons that in a way I'm kind of glad. But at the same time, I hate that I had to go through that. And me and my cousin, honestly, we just laugh at one another for for that, for just how terribly we went about that whole situation. And at least I feel I wasn't alone. I suffered with some people, which somewhat, in a way, it kind of makes me feel some comfort. But obviously, that comfort is not enough to justify that I went about it all wrong. But at least it tells you that you know you aren't stupid. You just got hooked like everybody else, and that's unfortunate. But it is what it is. So I want to attach the ChatGPT charts, the research I was doing, the app layout, and everything that I can be able to find from what I got in that app, and hopefully, you are able to, you know, see where your boy went wrong, what he did, and how he got to where he is. But I'm so glad I'm now debt free. From 15K to negative 6,000. That's crazy. But now that I'm back up from money that I didn't have before, and now that I'm back up, when I start, I'm documenting my journey. Obviously, I'm gonna show you what I'm doing right now to start earning good money, legitimate money, without being scammed, without the fear of it being taken away from me. And hopefully, I can be able to now, have some financial stability that actually makes me feel at peace. But yeah, hopefully that story was able to enlighten you, was able to teach you a couple of lessons, and also I hope it was entertaining. And yeah, so see you in the next one. I'll attach the screenshots in this video. And yeah, thank you.